Hello, everyone. Casey Whalen reporting for Idaho Tribune. We're joined today by Dakota Mayu and his lawyer, Catherine Hartley of the Pacific Justice Institute. And Dakota's a bus driver who was fired from the Kellogg School District after attending a protest for student Travis Lohr. And we're here to get more information about his ongoing civil rights lawsuit against the school district. Thank you for so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us here.
Thank you.
Well, I want to ask you some questions first, Dakota. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and how long you've been a bus driver? How long had you been a bus driver with the Kellogg School District?
Well, I mean, pretty obviously, I'm a metalhead, and I have been a school bus driver with Kellogg since November of 2020. But prior to that, I worked for Edmonds and Seattle Public Schools, driving a bus for them. I've actually been a bus driver on and off for a decade now, and I considered this to be my career. I didn't have a whole lot of intention of doing anything else.
All right. It sounds like you have like a good rapport with the kids on the school bus from the little conversations I heard.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's one of the things that I kind of impromptu music appreciation that's kind of my game.
All right. That's how you get through to the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Through music. How did you first hear about the issue, or what Travis Lohr had said, the Kellogg High School student? And what did he say? Can you maybe set that up for people, tell people who are not familiar?
He said, for anyone who's unfamiliar, what Travis exactly said was guys are guys, girls are girls. There is no in between. And I mean,
at a pre-graduation.
Yeah, he said it at a pre-graduation ceremony, and I heard about it via. He immediately, of course, got barred from attending the actual graduation ceremony. And I heard about it from a couple of friends of mine who keep an eye on the local Valley Facebook group.
And so then they had the protest shortly thereafter?
Oh, they had the protest the next day. Yeah, the day after I heard about it.
At the Kellogg High School?
Yes, at the Kellogg High School.
And so you decided to show up to support Travis?
I mean, I was kind of waffling on it first thing in the morning, but I was listening to some of the kids on my bus and some of the conversations they were having going into school about, like, well, what if I say something that pisses them off? Or, well, it's like, this is ridiculous. What is this?
And by them, you mean the administration, essentially?
Exactly, the school administration. The kids were pretty upset about it. I'm like, you know what? Somebody has to say something to them.
And so you showed up that day. Can you tell us a little bit about what was it like that day when you showed up?
I mean, it was actually just a normal protest. I mean, I grabbed my American flag off my porch at the last minute. Like, I was literally walking down the stairs, turned around. It's like, I'm not going to have a sign with me, but I want to take the flag with. So I put it in the car and brought it with. And, I showed up and people were pretty chill, and nobody was violent. Nobody was hateful, anything like that. It was just normal, concerned citizens speaking out against an injustice committed by the Kellogg Public School District and its employees.
Okay. And so what happened after the protest? Was it the next day that you were fired?
No, I was fired while I was there.
Oh, they fired you while you were at the protest?
Yes. So anyway, my boss rolls up. No, I was the only one of the school bus drivers that showed up to the protest. Well, yeah, my boss rolls up. My boss is Corey North, the transportation director. He rolled up with the superintendent in his tiny little green truck, and they went into the school. And they came back out, and I saw them come and go. And then immediately after they left, I get a phone call from them. It's like, where are you? Oh, no, while he was still in the school, I got a phone call from him. It's like, Dakota, where are you? It's just like, I'm outside. Where are you at outside? I'm outside. Why do you need to know? And, that was the extent of that conversation. And then, of course, it was within 15 minutes of him actually leaving, because as soon as he got back, to the transportation office, by my estimation, he calls me. He says, you need to come into my office immediately. It's like, I was still at the protest, and I'm like, is this a disciplinary issue? It's like, I'm not going to discuss that on the phone. Okay. So I showed up, and he fired me.
And that audio call has been released, or that audio.
Oh, yeah. I
the
mean,
leaked audio of that incident.
I mean, it is one of those things where I have gotten. Idaho is a single party state. Sir, if this is a disciplinary action, I'd rather have witnesses present.
Well, it's not a disciplinary action. You're fired.
That's a disciplinary action, sir.
I was instructed to let you go today.
That is
Immediately.
And so what happened after that? How did it affect your life, losing your job abruptly like that?
Well, I was pretty depressed. I had to, of course, search for a new job.
I mean, but did it affect you monetarily?
Oh, God, it affected me monetarily. I mean, well, it would have if it had not been for Brooke and the Give, Send, Go. Thank God.
The owner of Life Coffee
Yes.
stepped in to help you out?
Yes, the owner of Life Coffee and Beaumont stepped in to help me out and set up a Give, Send, Go, and that kept me afloat until I could find new employment.
Well, let's bring Kate into the conversation here of the Pacific Justice Institute. And you took up his case, I'm assuming within a short amount of time, I'm guessing. Can you tell people a little bit about what is the Pacific Justice Institute?
Sure. We are a legal nonprofit. So we represent folks at no charge within our scope, which is mostly, First Amendment issues, parental rights issues, and sanctity of life issues. And so, we operate within the First Amendment, and Dakota has a First Amendment claim against the school district. And we are fortunate to be able to represent anyone at no cost.
I'm familiar with Pacific Justice Institute. That they helped out Pastor Ashton Yackton after he was arrested at the Drag Queen Story Hour in Spokane, Washington, 2019. And I know it gave him a lot of relief to have PJI step in and help him out, and really gave a lot of comfort to his family. So thank you for what you're doing, because I'm sure it's a lot of work, and you get a lot of requests, I'm sure, for people to help you out.
We do. Thank you. Yes.
So what are the laws that were violated in this case, and what are the parties?
Yes. So this case, obviously Dakota is the plaintiff, and the defendants are the school district itself and his direct boss and the superintendent, because they all had involvement in this situation. And it's a pretty straightforward First Amendment free speech claim. And he was attending this protest on his own time. He wasn't on the clock with the school district. And there's very long-standing Supreme Court precedent, about our First Amendment. And he has a right to speak on matters of great public concern, even as a government employee.
Also, I was not in any position where my loyalty directly to the superintendent or Corey North was considered a part of my job.
Right. So he wasn't in a managerial position. He didn't create policy for the school. Those are all factors, no doubt. But there's a lot of precedent on this issue.
Can you think of one case in particular that may be similar to his?
There's a lot within the history of the Supreme Court, certainly starting with Pickering is the big case that occurred many decades ago. His situation, the plaintiff in that case, wrote a letter to the editor about something that was going on in the school district he worked for, and they fired him for that. And the Supreme Court said, no, he has the right to speak on a matter of great public concern. Just as Dakota did in this situation. And of course, the topic we're talking about is a major controversial topic in our society right now, right? The issue of gender and sexuality is a hotly debated issue right now.
Which is really bizarre to me because, I mean, it's pretty self-evident that there is only male and female. You're either two X chromosomes or XY. I mean, that is where we're at.
I think, of course, I agree with Dakota's statement on that, but it's obviously a huge issue right now, right? We all know this is a major, major issue, and therefore everyone has a right to their opinion on it, right? I think Dakota's opinion would be that the other side of this issue also has a right to speak on it, but so does he. So the heart of his case is, First Amendment free speech.
Okay. Is the Department of Justice involved?
No.
And what are the damages?
Right. So his damages are going to be calculated based on, what he was making with the school district, including his benefits and all the things he received from them and what he has now lost.
The fact that
because
this
of his
is
termination.
the end of my career as a school bus driver, I don't think I'll be able to work for another district ever again. And it's like I said, this was what I was doing. This is what I was good at. I mean, ask anybody who was on the trip from Bonner's Ferry where I performed evasive maneuvers around a moose at speed in a loaded school bus. So, I am exceedingly good at my job.
All right. You sure it wasn't Bigfoot? No, I'm just kidding.
It was definitely a moose. We didn't even hit the thing and it fell over anyway, just probably out of surprise.
And I'm just kind of curious, what do you think maybe the probability of winning the case may be? I guess you maybe never know.
That's right. You do never know. What I would say is I do think there is a lot of very good standing precedent that is in his favor in this case. And so that is what we will rely on and what we will argue, and I'm hopeful for a good outcome based on that.
And is there any scheduled court date yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
All right. Dakota, is there anything else you'd like to add as far as your story is involved, or maybe Travis's story that hasn't been reported to the media? As far as maybe your perspective as far as what you've seen that's not out there.
Well, I am very, very grateful for the public support that I have been receiving, both via the fundraiser campaign and just locally, having random local people that I have never met before stopping me in Walmart or just I'm walking down the road and being like, heck yeah.
And how can people
warms my heart.
How can people help you?
The Give Send Go is still functioning. It's still up and going.
And I guess as a last point, what do you have a message to America as far as rights are concerned?
As far as rights are concerned? Well, all right.
So in general, I guess,
2020 should have been a lesson to everybody that these people have their own agenda and it does not include us. And that tyrants will never stop being tyrants until we make them stop. And we do so in every act of defiance. Every time they give us orders and we tell them no. Every time they say, you're going to lock down, and we say, come over here and make me. Every act of defiance against a tyrant contributes to their downfall.
All right. Well, thank you. And where can people find out more about the Pacific Justice Institute, Catherine?
You can go to our website. It's pji.org. And again, we're a nationwide firm. I'm fortunate enough to head up Idaho's office, but we are hoping to help anyone in the country. We have offices all over the country, but feel free to visit pji.org.
All right. Thank you so much, Dakota Mayu and Catherine Hartley of Pacific Justice Institute. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Casey. Thanks
you
for having us here.